Dumpisode. After getting 2 rejections, slightly under 30,000 US dollars, guys, the DJI is at one of its most critical points in a very long time. And again, this is extremely important for Bitcoin as well. Not only that, but the SPX is actually currently, as I'm recording this, testing the 21-week moving average, which is exactly where we found a bounce back on September 21st, guys. But this is absolutely critical. It's actually printing a very similar pattern to the DJI. And in fact, if this does collapse below the 21-week moving average, you are going to want to know what happens next. Guys, and as we tweeted last week and talked about in yesterday's video, Bitcoin can retrace as quickly as it's pumping. And usually dumps happen a lot quicker than the pumps happen. Staircase up, elevator down. But also, as we talked about, we were expecting this in yesterday's video, and we'll show you again what is most likely the next pullback area for Bitcoin and what is the most necessary and lowest pullback area for Bitcoin to remain completely bullish. And Bitcoin basically reached the complete breakout target of this ascending triangle, but as you can see from these last 3-4 hour candles, it is dumpage after rumpage after dumpage. Where will Bitcoin find support? And guys, as well, most importantly, this absolutely insane level, the last area on Bitcoin's chart that has relevance to the upside, is exactly right under 14,000 US dollars, exactly where we started this pullback last night. And we'll talk about where I expect Bitcoin to find support over the next few days. Welcome back, Dumpy Squad. We have a lot of TA to talk about in today's video, guys. And specifically, as we've been saying for the past week, actually for like the past month, this week though specifically is going to be very volatile. We spent a lot of time talking about it yesterday. But again, today is a very good example of that. Stocks are at a critical position right now. And although Bitcoin has been kind of decoupling, diverging a little bit from that price, guys, again, it is not a one-time thing. Bitcoin doesn't decide one day that it's all of a sudden never going to be correlated at all with stocks, right? It is a very long process. Again, I personally think we are seeing it happen in real time. However, again, it's not going to decouple in one day. It's a long process. And that's what we're going to be talking about in today's webisode. So guys, as well, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications so you get updated when we upload time-sensitive, absolutely mission-critical webisodes like this. And as well, if you want to enter for this ledger, an equivalent in BTC, or access T4, as always, make sure to drop your comment below and hit subscribe. And guys, if we can hit 1,000 likes in this webisode, then we will be picking the winner for the next webisode. Wow, so I actually want to start off with this article by Joseph Young, posted just a few hours ago. Whale cluster at 13K is now a support zone, and I basically just wanted to highlight this here, and this is kind of where whales have accumulated right here, this $13,000 level, which is exactly where we're getting a bounce right now. So basically, if we jump into the weekly chart, first off, this weekly chart, as I'm recording, is still green. It is literally within dollars of flipping to red. But ultimately, this is still 100% fine, guys. This is not even Bitcoin, in my opinion, that's going down. Bitcoin is looking very strong, even though I'm sure many of you are aware that like Coinbase went down last night as Bitcoin was about to set all-time highs for the past like 2 years, or highs for the last 2 years, right? As soon as we came up to approach this historical, pretty much the last high on the chart that we haven't broken, aside from 20K, as Bitcoin was coming up to approach that, Coinbase went down. That was kind of frustrating and annoying. But as well, overall, Bitcoin looking very strong. The main reason this is happening, and again, I was watching the futures, and then when the stocks opened, obviously, it was kind of a bloodbath. So you see where they opened here with the SPX. DJI is down as well. But we're at a very critical level, right? We've been talking about this for a few days after we broke below the 21 and 50-day moving average, right? So this was one bearish sign here. But now, as you can see, this is incredibly important right here, this 21-week moving average here for the SPX. Right, this is absolutely critical. We got a bounce here, very strong, very key bounce here back on September 21st, but it's not a good sign that we're already coming back down to test this as support, guys. This, personally, could go lower here. And so this is very critical. We're actually going to show another chart that shows yet another picture that you'll definitely want to see here. But as well, we also have the 200-day moving average all the way down here at about 3,100, so about 200 points lower than where we are right now. So again, we already said this was going to be a volatile week because of what's going on with the elections and everything like that. And as well, we never actually had priced in my opinion, what just happened over the last 7 months in the world, right? With that crash in March, again, I don't think any of that has actually been priced into these charts. So what does that mean for the long term? Well, for one, I personally think that the SPX, DJI, all of them are going to have a really bad 2021. With that being said, I definitely think the trend of Bitcoin decoupling will continue throughout the rest of this year and 2021. I think it's necessary, and I think, again, as we see, institutions are getting into Bitcoin, I think for that very reason, right? I think a lot of companies don't really want to be associated or have too much exposure to the SPX, DJI, other traditional assets like this. I'm very confident that Bitcoin is looking extremely appetizing, and you don't have to take my word for it, just follow the money. The money is showing us that Bitcoin is looking extremely appetizing to people. But guys, with that being said, this is still going to be a rocky transition, right? In my opinion, just because Bitcoin is decoupled a lot the last week or so, just because we get a lot of positive, very, very bullish signs coming out for Bitcoin, does not mean that if we get a massive downturn in the stock market, that Bitcoin isn't going to be affected in the short term. It will be, right? And we're seeing that today as well. And I think that's going to continue to play out. Again, like I said, it's not going to happen overnight. We're not going to see Bitcoin and stocks decouple overnight. This is a long process. But with that being said, we have to watch this because for the short term, I think we really want to hold this. But then also for the DJI guys, as you can see, this is an absolutely insanely critical horizontal support, or at least we hope it holds a support. It was previous resistance for like the last 3 years, going all the way back to the very first month of 2018 here. But as you can see, this is literally about 3 years of concrete horizontal significance in terms of support and resistance, right? And we're at this very moment, on the verge of maybe breaking below that. So you wonder why why they might be bearish. We showed you the SPX. Yeah, you can see why that might be bearish. DJI, yeah, as well. You can see why that's looking kind of bearish as well, guys. Definitely want to pay attention to that. I've never been more bullish on Bitcoin, but again, this could and probably will short-term impact Bitcoin's price negatively, as we're seeing. Again, it's just how it goes. We're going to have to go through it, most likely. But again, I'm extremely confident in Bitcoin. There is not a single asset that I'd rather have my capital in than Bitcoin, right? Huge. So with Bitcoin's price, we actually came up incredibly close, guys. We basically matched the high that we got back in the summer, late June of 2019 for Bitcoin's price. Basically matched that right around 13,850 or 60-ish. I think we're about like $10 or $20 below it. But for the most part, that's exactly where this retracement started. So Bitcoin has a lot of areas below us where it would find support and it would be extremely healthy. So again, I'm not concerned at all. Bitcoin still looks amazing. The very lowest target that I'm looking at obviously is around that 21-week moving average, which is currently like slightly below 11,000 US dollars, around 10,800. So with that being said, the very lowest area that we could go, and I would still remain 100% bullish and optimistic on Bitcoin, would be even below 11,000 US dollars, around 10,700 and 800. I don't think we're going to go anywhere near that, but that is just the lowest target that I'm looking at. More likely, I think support would be around the 12,500, again, at the lowest. I think that's a very big level of support. And again, guys, that's kind of where we see a lot of volume come in on this chart, slightly above that, but specifically right around the 11,008 and even 12,000. So for the most part, Bitcoin has a lot of room to the downside. And again, that's why I primarily focused in this video the SPX and the DJI, because again, I think if these absolutely plummet, currently they're still holding. I actually took like an hour break in the middle of recording this video because I had to do something, and price has stayed right here within that hour that I pretty much started the video and where I'm recording right now. So it's held for well over an hour now. But again, I'm going to be watching those charts more so than Bitcoin right now. I'm really not even concerned with Bitcoin at this time, to be honest. Bitcoin has so much support below it. Basically, you can go like every $500, and there's a significant amount of support because where we are on the chart, I mean, this is the best way to illustrating it. Like I just said, there's just so much support kind of below us. So that's what I'm looking at there. We ideally do not want to see continued drops in the stock market. But again, guys, even if we do get that, which I ultimately think is exactly what is going to happen over the next year or in the slightly mid to longer term, I definitely think that this is going to continue to go down and be a much bigger downtrend with traditional stocks. With that being said, I expect Bitcoin to continue to kind of decouple. We've gotten tastes of it over and over and over again over the last few weeks. And again, I think that is going to continue, guys. As big money goes into Bitcoin more and more, as we've seen, then that basically, I think, is the fundamental catalyst that is going to shift majorly for Bitcoin to be bullish over the long term. And I'm super excited for 2021 and Bitcoin's price. Huge, guys. So if you're new to the channel, as always, make sure to leave your comment below and subscribe. If we can hit 1,000 likes, we'll be doing a giveaway in the next webisode tomorrow. And as well, there is a free trading tutorial preview here under T4. And as well, guys, for anybody looking to trade, you have 3 days left to get up to an additional $390 to trade with Bitcoin when you deposit below. If you deposit 0.1, you can get an additional 60, and so on and so forth. 0.5 deposited is how you get that additional 390 with creating a new account and signing up below, only if you have experience trading and only if you want to support the channel as well.